I'm sure you guys have heard the news by now. Jussie Smollett was indicted for felony by grand jury because he filed a false police report. And it doesn't come as a shock to a lot of us. We knew that the walls were closing in, that it was just a matter of time because of the evidence that supposedly the CPD had been able to put together. So according to this report, it says that Jussie Smollett has been indicted for a felony filing a false police report, and the stakes are 3 years in prison. A Cook County grand jury handed down the indictment late Wednesday after grand jurors heard testimonies and evaluated evidence. And so the brothers told grand jurors they staged a so-called attack at Jussie's behest and even got paid for it. The brothers were caught on camera buying a bunch of supplies before the incident, including ski masks, gloves, bandanas, sunglasses, and red hats. And I have that video on here as well. You guys will see it come up in a moment. It says, although police officially called Jussie a victim until recently, multiple law enforcement sources have told us that police had real doubts about Jussie's story early on. I've been saying that from the get-go. I knew the minute they were asking Jussie for his phone that they didn't believe him. I knew that because I had never heard of somebody that was supposedly a victim, like you say a robbery victim or a victim of sexual assault or something like that, and the cops want your phone. I've never heard of that. And so when they asked for his phone, I immediately thought to myself, they're not believing him. They don't buy it. Now, I'll be the first to say this. I don't trust CPD. I don't trust the Chicago Police Department. I'm not exactly happy that they've spent all of this time on this case when there are 1,000 more cases in the city of Chicago that they honestly could be dealing with and working on. Now, that's not to say that it's only a couple of police and they can only work on this case. I mean, I have a friend that's a Chicago police officer, and she tells me all the time, she says, Chicago police don't solve shit. They don't solve anything. But they spent all this time and resources on this when it was a 1-year-old that got shot over a week ago, got shot in the head 2 times. And you haven't heard about that kid since. It has not been on the news. And so the fact that they have spent this much time on it, I'm still trying to figure that out, okay? I don't like that. I don't like the fact that they spent this much time on it. And to be honest with you, I think that most of us would have forgotten about this. I mean, honestly, about 3 days after it happened, we would have probably went on about our lives and forgot about it. But they have put this in our face every single day. Have you noticed that? That is on the news every single day. And for the record, I'll give it this much. Because it's so odd and so weird, and there were so many twists and turns in it, of course people were intrigued and they wanted to know more about it. It's a strange story. It is. But I just can't sit here and just side with the Chicago Police Department too, because I know how they get down. I mean, these are the same police department that was torturing people to confess to certain stuff. And we still don't know what happened to Kanika Jenkins when she walked in that freezer. Don't nobody know nothing. All right. And the FBI wouldn't even get involved in that. So, you know, don't look to me to have any kind of like sympathy or hero worship for the Chicago Police Department, because I don't. Now, as far as Jussie going to jail, I don't see that happening. Honestly, I think that, you know, he's indicted. He will be booked. He'll get out within a couple of hours, an hour or so, and he'll have to be arraigned and all that other stuff. And, you know, I think the worst that could happen to Jussie is probation or something like that. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, he's pretty much lost his career. His career is pretty much done for at this moment. All right. But let me say this. I don't like the fact that Black people are like hell bent on, hang him. I've heard so many people like, put him in jail. Hang him. He should never be able to walk the face of the earth again. I'm just thinking to myself, like, wait a minute. Y'all about to do all that to this dude, but we still got folks walking around that piss on little kids in videotapes. I mean, seriously, walking the streets free. So I'm just trying to understand that. Now, that doesn't mean that Jussie, what he did was right. I'm just saying, I just think that people are being a bit too harsh. You know, he did it to himself. He is the one that's going to ultimately suffer for this. He is. So, but I just feel like, you know, it's amazing to me to see so many Black people go hard on him. And don't get me wrong, he did a bad thing. But the fact that it's like, well, we're never going to forgive Jussie. We will never forgive this. I'm just thinking, seriously? I've seen black people forgive Gucci or forgive, again, all this other stuff, or forgive other people that didn't ask for your forgiveness. But you can't even show a little sympathy for this man. He did something stupid. He really did. But I mean, I'm not ready to just throw this man out. Now, what his PR should, if it was me and I was his PR people, crisis manager, I would say, you know what, Jussie has a substance abuse problem, and he's acting erratic. He's been acting erratic for a while, and they made him do a stupid thing. And Jussie's going to go away for 3 months into a rehab so that he can get himself better. All right. They're going to either spin this with substance abuse or mental health. I have a feeling it's going to be mental health or substance abuse. It's going to be one of those, because right now I'm sure crisis management is on it and they're trying to figure out how to do this. And for the record, let's not sit here and act like there have been people out there that haven't filed false police reports. We know that. We know that a lot of white women have filed false police reports out here on folks. You know, white folks like to call the cops on kids that's selling water and having barbecues and sleeping in their dorms and going into their apartments. So let's not sit here and act like stuff like this doesn't happen. It happens. And I want us to keep the same energy for that kind of stuff too. There's a woman goes by the name of Carolyn Bryant. You remember her? She is the woman who got Emmett Till killed. And she's still alive. Never did a day in prison. Not once. Never went to jail for it. And she's still living. And she got that man killed. Jussie ain't got nobody killed. He ain't murdered nobody. He just did some stupid shit that's going to cost him his career. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Jussie's going to jail? Do you think that we should, move on from it? Because I'm ready to move on from it. I think it's not my issue. Jussie screwed up his career, but I'm not going to just condemn this guy.